The Ark of the Covenant was a point of embarkation and debarkation. Okay, is the point where matter is transformed into energy and energy to matter. It is said that if you touch the Ark of the Covenant, and people did, they just fell over dead. But yet they could heal, they could make it rain, they could make the Dead Sea part, they could do everything with this. Now, why is it some people would die and some it didn't matter? Well, it only didn't matter to one person, and that was Moses, okay? It mattered to everybody else, okay? But what you had was a person whose body had been transformed to accept higher vibrational frequencies without disintegrating. With the average person, because they do not work to change the vibrational frequency, it will not accept the charge. Therefore, extra crispy. Okay? Just like that. It was a tool. It was a tool used by highly evolved people, people who spent their time chemically changing the body. Yeah. Chemically changing the body through what they thought and what they ate, so that they could handle the energy. These tools are again available to mankind. It's just that you have to be able to use them. It is absolutely important that we begin to examine. I've said to you that this age is the age of wave energy. All of the new inventions and everything will have to do with wave energy. Now, if you want to get ahead in the game, I suggest you start thinking about wave energy. Okay? You know, there are all kinds of ways in which to become involved, okay, with this stuff. But stuff will hit, oh, wow, you can do this, this, and this. Do you realize that they are on the verge of creating a machine where 60,000 could fit on the head of a pin?
60,000
machines. And they operate off of electromagnetic energy. They're saying now we're going to be able to put this into the vein of a diabetic, and it will send all this information and stuff. So you'll know when you need to do your insulin, you know, whatever. They are working with wave energy. There will be no more organ transplants. There will be no more open heart surgeries, because they've got these little machines. They put them in there, and they are learning now how to break down through using virtual reality. They're learning how to move the electrons around on grass to get a steak, just like a cow does. Just like a cow takes the grass and turns it into cow. Yes. Star Trek replicators, they want something.
Beam me up and beam me down.
It creates food.
Oh.
They will be able to take these little machines and take the vibratory frequencies and create new organs. These are the things that are coming about as a direct result of dealing with vibrational frequency. All right? It's there, and even the dummies are finding out because it's the only thing that is available to us at this time. It is the strongest energy available to us. So the more you learn about it, the more it helps you as individuals. Think about it. Think about it. They can now move the electrons one by one, and this is by use of a virtual reality. You know the little games, the little virtual reality games? They aren't just games. Okay, so we need to start thinking about this wave energy. What does it mean? Who knows what that's going to mean to you and what you do and what you are able to do? What you will be able to do just with your hand. Once you really accept the fact that you're just this giant neuron and able to affect the chemicals in the air to get other things to be in concert with you. There are all kinds of things there. I've always said everybody wants to know the secrets to the universe. There are no secrets. Everything is right there. If you just learn how to look. What does it mean? I gave you some time ago an exercise called the Great Circle. And I know you've all done it every day since then. But in the visualizing of that light, one of the frequencies that is finer than the frequency of thought, which is the last jumping off place of mass, is visualization. So you're actually creating these transitory points and renewing your system. That's what it's about. The visualization of the energy in the Tandien is the same thing. You are literally creating a point of transition between God and mass. But I know you've done that every day, so you already know that, right? You know what you've been doing. But see, that's the whole point. Remember something I've said to you. Never think you got it. See, again, everything that I say to you is absolutely important. And I hear it all the time. I hear, but I'm talking about this because I want you all to understand this. I will say X and say, well, better now, and so and so and so. Well, okay, fine. I said what I meant, okay? The thing is that we have to understand is that when we are accepting instruction, that we accept the instruction in its totality. Because we don't accept it in its totality, we keep sputtering. If you follow and I say, never think you got it, why do you say, oh, I got that? Yeah, right.
It's ego.
Yeah, and these are the things that we're supposed to catch. Because these are the things that keep you vibrating at a lower vibrational frequency. When we talk about thought, you have different frequencies of thought. A frequency of thought that is ego-driven is a very low frequency. When I say low frequency, I should say long frequency. Because it is a frequency of Seth. It means it stays in this reality longer, that means it is heavy. Okay. Heavy, heavy, heavy. All right. High, heavy. All right. The higher you begin to think. Now see, notice something. When you sit out, and you start, notice your body. You're heavy. You're ego-driven. Now you're in here. You don't know anything that's going on. And all of a sudden, wow, it gets real bright. Because you're now not in the long frequency. We have brief moments of awakening. See, for a moment, I had it. That's because it passes through this reality like, phew, like that. Oh man, I knew it. I knew it all. Well, what happened? You went back to doing the old stuff. See, it's one of the things we have to understand is that you can never, ever let go, and that it is an absolute. This whole thing is an absoluteness. You can't argue with what's given to you. You have to check it out. If you debate with what's given to you, you waste your time. One of the things I said is that you have to trust me. If you trust me, you'll do it. If you do it, you'll know. That is when we're taking instruction. But if we want to just stumble through it, that's cool. But remember, that's exactly what you're going to do. So all of this stuff, it's important to listen to this crap. This stuff. You listen to it. Use it in every aspect, in every phase, because it's all going to pay off. But see, you can't, always do this. Well, there's a reason why. I don't always say the reason why, because then you don't have anything to do. Yeah, you don't have to bother with, I know what this is. He said so. It's a no. Here, do this. And let's find out what happens. So now, you've got all these vibratory frequencies that make up physically what you are. And then you have these vibratory frequencies that make up non-physically what you are. As long as you are into the long frequencies, you think you're the body. And you think you begin and end where your fingertips begin and end. It's like will. If you want to touch something from here, you don't keep thinking in your fingers. Because that means that everything ends right there. How can you touch it if it's ending right here? If your assumption is ending where your fingertips end. You see what I'm saying? That's how the belief that you are the body, or how that long frequency thought keeps you from knowing the truth. Okay. Now what you have to do is learn how to project the will. How to extend beyond what you think of as the end. And what will happen? You will begin to produce more receptors. Those receptors will provide you with what you need, but will only get you right where you started. Sometimes not. Sometimes not. That's the way it is. We have to begin to believe in the absolute. A person who looks at the shadow world cannot believe in the absolute. Looks at this, the shadow world, and claims it as reality. No. You have to look beyond this, because it does exist beyond this. There are all manner of things that exist that are yours in dominion. But you have to push through those barriers, and they're not easy because you are an addict to the chemicals that say that it is not. You are an addict to the chemicals that say it is not. Point about that, and I think this is a point to each and every one of you. When you set to do an exercise, I have people that I really stopped giving exercises to. And I stopped because I would say, this is what you need to do. Do this. And they would come back and say, well, see, I felt so and so, so I did this. I say, well, go ahead on out there. Sail your little boat right on out there. Maybe there'll be somebody to pick you up. Maybe there won't. It's not my responsibility. And why I say that is because I hear you. I'm listening to you. And I'm saying to you, this is what you need to do before you do that. Because if you don't, you know, there's things you're going to run into that you're not going to be able to handle. You see, one of the things we need to learn to do is to hold focus. When you run into someone who can hold focus over long periods of time, months, years, what usually happens is those people who cannot hold focus over that period of time will not see the consistency in the focus. They think it's broken up here, broken up here, broken up here. But when you find a person who can keep that focus over a long period of time, what they're demonstrating, or generally what they will be demonstrating, is the rhythm of things and how you do things and what you have to do. But you will only do that until you become disciplined enough to hold focus. And it's one of the hardest things in the world to do because you are addicted to wandering. So it's very, very, I didn't say this thing was easy. Okay, I didn't say that. I said it's simple. Okay, I didn't say it was easy. And you must be able to just, all right, this is what I'm supposed to do here, now let me do this. If I'm focusing on the wall, if I want to feel the vibrations of the atoms and molecules in that wall, and if I want to see what is happening there, then I have to focus on that. My mind will say, wall, paint. I wonder if I'm going to focus inside the paint or inside the wall. Just shut up and focus. Okay? Because it doesn't matter. It just, you lose your focus. And the next thing you know, you're thinking about another wall somewhere in another building, and then the building, and you're thinking about the people in the building and this kind of thing. Absolute focus, to be able to hold focus. And you, vibrational frequency, there is a message in the frequency. once you touch it, it will tell you about itself. You don't really have to ask any questions. It will tell you what it is. If you look at a voice on an oscilloscope, it just looks like, but then you put it through amplifier or whatever that thing does, and you'll find that there's a message in this, and you can understand the message. So that's very important. We go right back to the bottom line, and that bottom line is discipline to do technique. The exercise your senses technique. That's, whew, man, that's awesome technique. So, but I don't have time to do it. I have to work. Well, when you work, don't you listen? When you work, don't you look? You know, don't you smell things when you work? You know, these are all vibrational frequencies, and they will give you all kinds of information. But we have to practice in our every moment life. We have to do that in order to get certain things to happen for you. You can't be scattered about it. You can't say, well, Anand said do this. And this is something that is prevalent also, is that people would take certain things out of what I said and forget the whole of what's been said and do kind of strange things. But you have to take the whole, because the whole is saying something about the whole. And you have to be able to see the weaving of these threads across time. That's one of the reasons I came back and I started doing this in this way about beginning, length, width, breadth, depth, or whatever all that is, and coming into existence and forces and all this, is to re-emphasize this across, quote, time. But you have to remember, time and space are not truths, but realities. God ends where length, width, and depth begin, or height begin. Form. Anything else, the wave penetrates all form, and God is everywhere. Just a little food for thought. Thank you.